The Trafalgar Primary School feeding program guaranteed with the commissioning of a new cafeteria. Legislation now in place to protect credit card users. Hello and welcome to another edition of National Focus. I'm Mervin.
And I'm Fontaine. Stay with us for details of the headline stories and others after the break.
There is a silent, invisible killer in our midst, a killer which largely goes unnoticed as it plies its deadly trade. Its name is secondhand tobacco smoke, which has a far greater impact on persons inhaling this poison than on smokers themselves. Secondhand tobacco smoke is especially detrimental in public places and negatively impacts our national health as well as public health expenditure. Stop this invisible killer now. Say no to secondhand tobacco smoke in public places. A public health message brought to you by the Ministry of Health and the Pan American Health Organization.
Welcome back. Time now for the details of the news. A school feeding program for students attending the Trafalgar Primary School has been assured with the construction of a school cafeteria. Work on that project began in March this year and was funded by the Japanese government. On Tuesday, the keys to the school cafeteria were formally handed over to the principal of the Trafalgar Primary School, Doreen Watt. The cafeteria features a kitchen and dining area and is equipped with a freezer and cooker. Ms. Watt, in accepting the keys, says the availability of the cafeteria is in keeping with the child-friendly concept recently adopted by the school. She said with this project, the Trafalgar Primary School will provide proper food for its students who might not have been able to access it.
One of the things that we wanted to do as a child-friendly school was to have an area where our children would sit comfortably to have their meals, nutritious meals prepared in that same building. But when we saw, we were wondering, how are we going to go about that? We finally got through to the Japanese government, the Japanese people, and our project was approved.
Japanese Ambassador Yoshimasa Tezuka said the Japanese government was pleased to support the program under its GGP program.
Last January, the Embassy of Japan signed a grant contract with Ms. Doreen Watt, principal of the Trafalgar Primary School. From that moment on, we actively pursued the completion of the project. Today, we can see the fruits of our labor with the successful completion of the new cafeteria.
The Japanese ambassador noted that nutritional balance is very important for healthy lifestyles, especially for children. He is confident that this project is truly one which helps meet basic human needs. Minister for Education and Human Resource Development, Honorable Peter Seja, said the cafeteria is expected to improve the nutritional status of the children, resulting in improved student performance in a child-friendly environment. He thanked the principal of the school for seeing this important project come to fruition.
The Trafalgar Primary School is demonstrating in a very practical way here today that it is possible for us to achieve the goal of every child succeeding. And so Mrs. Watt, the principal of this school, and her staff, through this project, have demonstrated to us that we are able to embrace initiatives. And I want to commend you, Mrs. Watt, and your staff for being innovative and creative and actually searching diligently and finding sources of funding for the project.
A parliamentary representative for the Roseau Valley, Honorable Dr. John Colin McIntyre, officially thanked the government of Japan for providing such a facility to the school.
Ambassador, I'd like to take a special time off here to really thank you and your government for considering the Roseau Valley and considering Dominica and the government of Dominica in making this facility available to us today. We will cherish it, the students, the teachers, and whoever's been cooking there. We're going to cherish it because it's something that we really want it, we have it now, and it's up to us to really take charge of it. So I want to thank you and your government officially for that, from the government of Dominica and our Prime Minister.
Honorable McIntyre urged the parents who will serve as cooks at the school to provide healthy snack and lunch options for the children. Given the prevalence of unhealthy eating habits among school-aged children, he stressed that emphasis must be placed on eating what we grow and growing what will be eaten by the school children.
In terms of food and nutrition, we pride ourselves as a government speaking all the time about eating what we grow. And we speak here of health. You've heard the Prime Minister on a number of occasions and a number of us speak in reference to chronic non-communicable diseases. And this is the age we have to start at, our young people. We have to train them to eat right.
The school cafeteria project was constructed at a cost of over $45,000.
Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt and members of Cabinet met on Wednesday with Dominicans residing abroad who are visiting for the independence celebrations. The 13th annual meeting with the diaspora was held at the Crazy Coconuts, and the focus was on entrepreneurship.
The Entrepreneurship Forum is specifically designed to assist those of you wishing to invest your time, energy, and yes, your capital here in your homeland. Many of you may have specific skills and abilities that you have developed over the years, which can be put to good use here in Dominica.
The forum afforded the returning nationals the opportunity to dialogue with government officials. Time was also allotted for more personal interaction for those willing to invest in Dominica or those who needed information on available opportunities. Liaison Officer of Diaspora Affairs, Laureen Bannis-Roberts, in her welcome remarks, spoke of the contribution of Dominicans living abroad to the country's development.
We believe that you are extremely important. And that is why we continue to engage you on how best you can contribute towards the advancement of Dominica. This government firmly believes in the power of the diaspora, and we want to harness in every possible way your skills, talents, enterprise, and resources, especially as it relates to investments in the Dominican economy.
Minister for Agriculture and Forestry, Honorable Matthew Walter, spoke of the importance of the agriculture sector to the Dominican economy. He noted the contributions of friendly governments towards the promotion and development of a robust and sustainable agriculture sector in Dominica.
The government of Venezuela has provided in excess of $13 million to ensure that we expand the coffee subsector in this country. They have given us free of charge a coffee plant. And presently, construction is ongoing.
Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt at Wednesday's forum applauded Dominicans residing abroad who continue to invest in Dominica's development.
What type of Dominica do I want? And what am I prepared to do towards achieving that desired goal for Dominica? So I want to recognize those of you who have invested in Dominica. You may not be residing here, but you have investments here. I want to also recognize those of you who have returned and invested in Dominica. Those of you who have homes in Dominica. And those of you who have bank accounts here in this country. And I want to recognize those of you who make it a duty to not only come to Dominica once a year, but at every given opportunity. Because by you coming and you bringing your friends and your relatives, you are making a direct contribution to our foreign exchange earning capacity and the creation of jobs and the circulation of money in the economy.
The Invest Dominica Authority and the Ministry of Trade, in collaboration with the Aid Bank, is expected to launch an initiative soon that would assist those with specific interests in business investments in Dominica. GIS News will bring you more details of Wednesday's forum in Thursday's newscast.
In more news, Honorable Ashton Grano, the Member of Parliament for the Kalinago Territory, fully endorses government supplementary estimates of expenditure for the year ending June 2013 in the amount of $78 million. The Kalinago MP highlighted the area of education, which he's in full support of.
This is a government and administration that has proven time and time again that it has a certain level of sensitivity towards the young people of this country. That is not to say that we do not have sensitivity towards the middle-aged and older generation, like my neighbor from the Marigot constituency. But here we recognize that every country eventually will see the realization of the youth taking over whatever it is that we own now. So we are investing in the future. And to use the words of one of our economists, we are investing in the human capital. We are building capacity. That's what we are doing. We are providing for the young people. So to make monies available to enhance the learning environment of doing a state college.
He says never before has Dominica seen such improvements in the area of education.
Recognize the fact that we have created a structure in which the learning environment has been much improved. We have right now been able to provide for over 700 students. Now we're talking about almost 1,000 students going to school. 20 years ago, we didn't have a state college, if my memory serves me right. We had sixth form college and all the others, but we didn't have a state college. Now, what we're seeing here now is that as our country advances, there are certain things that become necessary. And therefore, we are taking measures now to ensure that we put in place those infrastructure that will help to improve on the human capital.
Honorable Grano noted that government has also assisted many of the students attending the Dominica State College with tuition fees in an attempt to increase the human resource capacity.
Also, government in some cases will be assisting some of the students with transportation to further enhance their attendance capability. So we are doing almost the impossible, so to speak. Almost the impossible. Because you provide the structure, you give them support with tuition, you provide support for them with transportation. I mean, what else can we ask for? What else can we ask for? Here's a government, Madam Speaker, that understands the plight of the youth. Here's a government that recognizes the need for providing for these young people who will replace us in Parliament in the next 30 years.
Meanwhile, the Minister for Education, Honorable Peter Seja, also supported government's quest to assist students financially at school.
The Dominica State College, right now, we are putting a new structure in place in an effort to pave the way. And listen carefully, we are putting a new structure in place in an effort to pave the way for universal access to college education. We promised universal access to primary education and we delivered. We promised universal access to secondary, we delivered. We promised universal access to early childhood and we are delivering. We will deliver universal access to college education in Dominica. And please, watch what you say about the young people of Dominica. If the state is paying tuition for the young people of Dominica, that by no means means that they are indigent. We are assisting people to gain an education that will qualify them in a globally competitive environment.
The parliamentary representative for the La Plaine constituency also told Parliament that the completion of the playing field in La Plaine would be undertaken in the near future.
Right now we have a transformed playing field. The pavilion building is complete and we have one little problem to address, because on the 19th of April, when we had these torrential rains, the field sustained, the surface sustained some damage, and that will be addressed. So I give the undertaking that that will be addressed. And so too, the expansion of the Fontaine playing field, for which I've already got consent of cabinet that we are going to expand the playing field and build a proper pavilion for the people of Dalis, La Roche, Victoria, and Caribe.
Public Works Minister Honorable Rayburn Blackmore, in support of the recent supplementary appropriations, emphasized government's geothermal pursuits.
The Labour Party, Mr. Speaker, is embarking on creative measures to reorient the economy, geothermal development. And we believe and we know that geothermal is the game changer for us in Dominica. As you heard from the Minister for Tourism, energy impacts on every sector of any economy. And, Mr. Speaker, let's get this thing quite clear here. That talk about developing geothermal resource was not brought about by the Labour Party. For in fact, if you were to reference the historical development of that, you will realize, as far back to 1969, Mr. Speaker, the United Nations in its report then identified Dominica as having the greatest potential for geothermal development in the Caribbean. Subsequent to that, Mr. Speaker, in 1974, under a Labour Party administration, we had an enactment of the Geothermal Act. And there were core intentions and objectives from that bill.
The geothermal energy resource is well on its way to becoming a reality. The minister believes that geothermal can only mean great things for the country's economy.
The consumer pays 117 cents per kilowatt hour. This is a drag on the business sector. It's a drag on the overall economy. When you look at, Mr. Speaker, how much we spent on our food import bill for the period 2012, $108 million was spent on our food import bill. For the same period, we spent $52 million to bring in fuel into this country for the express purpose of providing electric power. Almost half of the entire food import bill, sorry, Mr. Speaker. Just think, Mr. Speaker, the foreign exchange we can generate when we would have constructed this small plant, Mr. Speaker, in the first instance.
Honorable Blackmore announced that by the end of 2015, Dominicans will be able to enjoy the benefits of having their own resource here on the island.
In other news, the Electronic Funds Transfer Act passed in Parliament earlier this week will seek to assist government's payment of taxes electronically. Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, told the House of Parliament on Monday that this bill gives the assurance that it is safe to conduct electronic transactions.
Madam Speaker, the bill is of particular significance to government's effort to facilitate payment of taxes and other fees by electronic means, and to make payments to creditors by direct transfer, and to encourage the efforts of the banking system to reduce risks associated with the use of cash.
The Prime Minister says the bill makes provision to convict people who engage in criminal or fraudulent transfer of electronic funds.
The government is seeking to find ways for improving the business climate, but we are aware that as new systems are introduced, there are some persons who will attempt to use them for fraud or criminal activity generally. Upfront, we are taking action to guard against these persons, while at the same time giving confidence to genuine users of the system that it is safe to undertake transactions by electronic means. We hope, therefore, that this act will serve as a deterrent to those who may attempt any kind of criminal activity.
Parliamentary Secretary with responsibility for ICT in the Office of the Prime Minister, Honorable Kelvin Darrow, lent his support to the Electronic Funds Transfer Act.
We are quite aware, Madam Speaker, that with
the technology-savvy world that we are now in, there are a lot of persons out there who want to use that technology in a destructive manner. And this act, in fact, provides necessary legislation for the police and other the Financial Intelligence Unit to apprehend persons, Madam Speaker, who may want to use the use of the technology, particularly as it relates to credit card use over the internet for destructive purposes, to apprehend them and to enforce the full length of the law.
The government is of the view that the Electronics Funds Transfer Act will make Dominica a safer place for doing business, particularly among visitors. And that's the English segment of the news. McPherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à ce nouvel créole. Non, moi, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, le gouvernement Dominique tient un dialogue et puis Dominique tient qui a vécu l'autre pays aujourd'hui. Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt, ministre agriculture Honorable Murphy Walter, ministre diaspora Honorable John Colin McIntyre, et puis chef officier liaison Lauren Bernice Roberts, adressé forum là, où là, il parle de développement pays là. Si le ministre diaspora Honorable Dr. John Colin McIntyre, gouvernement Dominique bien plaisir pour dialogue là aujourd'hui.
Ça nous a dit tout le monde Dominique qui vient pour jouer ça. Nous les Chibelameo, pour nous faire un investment. Nous avons Aid Bank, nous avons NDFD, nous avons Credit Union, nous avons Small Business Opportunity. À Aid Bank, nous avons l'argent là. L'argent nous avons payé l'autre pays, l'autre pays, nous avons payé à la qualité puis, et nous avons fait pour descendre et pour les gens venir là acheter l'argent pour le développement. Et c'est tout le monde là, tout le monde qui est ici aujourd'hui, nous avons dit, nous faisons un biter à Dominique. Nous prenons pour quitter Dominique. Aujourd'hui, là, il a quitté parce que je viens pour célébrer cette passion. Je ne peux pas pour quitter l'argent. Vous faites un banque compte. Mettez l'argent là. Si on a pris l'argent, vous mettez plus l'argent, vous pris l'argent à Dominique. Tout ça a aidé nous. Les gens qui parlent de Dominique, ils parlent de l'autre sorte, ça c'est mon opposition. Ils parlent de l'autre sorte que Dominique dit, Dominique là. Mais là, les gens viennent Dominique avec eux, ouais. Là, nous sommes à Dominique, ça nous a fait, ça le gouvernement ça a fait. Ils ont dit, mais ça qui fait c'est beaucoup ça, ça ils ont parlé quoi. Avec aujourd'hui, ces gens là qui sont là, ils sont bien contents. Nous nous pas toute idée, mais nous écouter nous tant ça nous dit, nous nous chiber la main, nous faire vite pour Dominique. Aujourd'hui, on bien content et le programme aujourd'hui c'est un programme entrepreneurship program.
En notre nouvelle constituency Casse Bruce qui voit plusieurs projets bâtis qu'on caille et puis chemin. Parole celle-là sorti du Parlement Honorable Johnson Drago.
Quand nous avons parlé, on a travail qui a commencé en Casse Bruce pour faire 10 caisses qui a compté plus de $1 million en projet pour faire ces 10 caisses qui gouvernement qui ba moun qui besoin yo en Casse Bruce. Quand nous avons parlé encore en Dipa, nous avons fait un chemin up à Dipa Road. Quand nous avons parlé en constituency en Casse Bruce. Quand nous avons parlé encore, nous avons fait un chemin en Petit Soufouye. Où là, le gouvernement tenait pour payer d'autres l'argent pour manger, chemin complete, chemin chocho. Nous tenons pour faire un go wall, la falma pour un chemin. Il y avait un contracteur, just finishing contract pour nous finir morceau chemin ça en chocho. Et quand nous avons parlé, travail à ce ligne chemin, nous allons link. Qu'a poussé, on y poussé devant. Nous presse en washmark. C'est contracteur, yo mené ça avec un jackhammer et puis yo ka présent croiser wash pour mener yo en washmark pour nous faire préparation pour place washmark pour nous ouvrir chemin Rosalie.
Plan Electoral Commission ni pour commencer à échouer multipurpose ID cards. Plus tard l'année salam, qu'a poussé devant ça fait ou là yo taper équipement pour ça. En l'année 2012, le gouvernement Dominique a décidé pour implémenter C4 Salam, qui aussi ça servait pour moun voter pendant l'élection générale. Le gouvernement Dominique a déjà dépensé plus de $2 millions pour procurer équipement pour ça. Le Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt fait parole dans le Parlement qui l'argent pour ça qu'a sorti de banque la terre. Il aussi fait parole qui C4 Salam bien bon pour identification et puis aussi standard international. Electoral Commission a une responsabilité pour échouer ces cartes d'identité. Salam. Finalement, le ministre de l'Agriculture reçoit assistance hors BAM où il a employé 3 officiers pour monitorer la maladie Black Sickle Toka. Parole sur la sortie de l'officier quarantine Ryan Ansem.
Hors l'agence là, ça nous a fait, nous avons employé 3 officiers. Et bien ça c'est officier ça qui a fait, il a tout un pays, il a aidé nous monitorer la maladie. Parce que pour spray pour savoir maladie on ça qui anglais en threshold les on pour spray prendre les spray pour dire qu'on contre les Black Sickle Toka. So ça yo ka fait yo ka aller toutes ces fils là yo ka garder comment maladie y et ben yo ka ba nous recommandations pour nous spray. Et ben programme ça là c'est ka continuer et ben ça nous gens en dans 4e cycle ka spray. Nous avons spray tout mon pays et ben nous continuer à manager Black Sickle Toka. Et ben ça nous donne mon continuer programme Black Sickle Toka, délivre et ben faire tout ces bagages sanitation pour nous garder comment nous manager. So nous travailler avec BAM.
Messieurs mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nous faire la Creole pour à présent. Non, moi c'est McPherson Luce. Au revoir.
Coming up next, your tip of the day.
Together we build, together we strive. We see it all on your Government Information Service, Channel 7. This is the Government Information Service, bringing you all that you need to know about all that's happening in your country's development. GIS, you and your channel.
For sure, lack of sleep can make you feel sluggish, but sleep is only a piece of the energy puzzle. The other pieces lurk in our cupboards, freezers, and refrigerators.
Fatigue can result from 5 common food allergies such as dairy, eggs, corn, and peanuts. To figure out if one of these foods is taxing your energy, experts suggest a week-long detox. Then test the waters, reintroducing the potential allergens one by one. By eliminating them all and slowly bringing them back systematically, you'll know instantly what makes you tired and what gives you more energy.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website at news.gov.dm.
Friend us on our Facebook page and be sure to like our GIS Dominica fan page. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Fontaine.
And I'm Mervin. Thank you for watching.